Hey everyone, welcome back to Topher Drives, where today we're running some errands in the new 2024 Acura Integra Type-S. I've been living with this thing for the past 3 days and I'm excited to take you along on a journey of just daily driving this car. I've been trying to work in some more real life scenarios on the Topher Drives channel, so here we are today with the Type-S. This one has been daily driven for the past 3 days with me, and as you can see, it has been raining. The car's a little bit dirty, and I've gone through almost a full tank of gas in this car, so it's done plenty of daily driver duties. And why does it look like the hatch is popped? I don't know, but I'm gonna pop it anyways to show you that, well, what do I do when I'm daily driving a car? I fill it with boxes because I do some eBay on the side, and the Topher actually graciously gave me some of his leftover boxes that I'm gonna use for some eBay things. So we're gonna run over to my warehouse, drop these boxes off. We're gonna get some gas for the Type-S, and we're also going to drop off a return for my girlfriend Emily, who ordered some shorts that don't fit her right. So a couple of little errands today, but of course also we're going to talk about what this thing is like to drive, what it's been like to live with, what I like, what I dislike, and we'll go out and we'll do some spirited driving as well in that little section over by the warehouse. So let's go over some basics on the Integra Type-S before we hop in and hit the road. Under the skin, the Integra skin on this platform is basically an FL5 Civic Type R. It makes 5 more horsepower at 320 and 310 pound-feet of torque. It is front-wheel drive. It has a limited slip differential and a 6-speed manual transmission. The perfect hot hatch recipe. I am in love with this car. I knew I would like it ever since they kind of released that little teaser of the triple exhaust tips with the pops and burbles. I'm a big fan of hot hatches that are exuberant, that are fun, that are a little bit juvenile, and this kind of departs from the Civic Type R in that way to where it's a little rowdy. The Civic Type R is kind of like the nerdy kid. It just wants to go faster on the Nürburgring. It doesn't have any sort of weird exhaust noises, but it does have that cool factor to it with the red seats and the big spoiler and so on. But the Integra Type-S kind of just takes it up to the next level in street car, and that's what this thing is all about. It's a more daily driver focused Civic Type R, and they've really nailed the mark in my opinion, and I think this thing looks fantastic. We've got a few options on this car. We have the bronze wheels. They're about a $2,000 option. We also have this carbon fiber lip spoiler. I want to say this is like 1,500 bucks. We've got floor mats, a couple other things. Base price on this Integra Type-S is just under 51 grand. This one as spec is just under 56 grand. So approaching $60,000 for a front wheel drive hot hatch is a little bit outrageous. But when you think about other cars that it competes with, Civic Type R with a dealer markup, good luck finding one of those at MSRP. Volkswagen Golf R, granted that is all-wheel drive, but of course there are still the Hyundai N products, which are a bit cheaper than the Type-S. So we'll talk a bit more about that once we're on the road, but I just wanted to show you guys around the exterior of this car. We have these wonderful flared fenders. We have unique front fenders on the Type-S. We don't have unique rear doors or rear quarter panels. These are just stick-on fender flares that kind of make this thing look like a Hellcat wide body. It's like the Integra Hellcat, but I like that. We've got this pretty crazy rear diffuser, and like I mentioned earlier, these triple exhaust tips. Let's take a look under the hood and show you this K20, I think it's called, with VTEC. I work with 2 gentlemen that have Civic Type Rs, and they know all of their Honda specifics, Topher and Tedward. And then there's me, who doesn't really know much about Hondas, but ooh, this is hot. I never remember how to pop the hood on this thing. Oh, fumbling around like an idiot in my winding road video. But pretty much the same look under here as the Civic Type R, slightly different tune on things. So I think the actual engine itself is a slightly different code than you get with the Civic Type R. But we have a little Type-S badge there on top of the engine, and that really cool red cover there over our valve cover. So open intake right here so it can breathe in all of the air. We have a functional hood scoop, and this is a pretty light hood as well. It doesn't have shocks. We have a little prop right here to hold it up, but really cool look, and that is functional, so pretty neat. And man, I always thought that the Civic Type R looked menacing coming down the road, but look at the front end presence of this Type-S. Man, is this a proper looking thing. Now this is in full form daily driver right now. I have my Washtenaw County Parks Pass. We'll peel that off when we get in so you don't have to stare at green the whole time. But I've got my return back here. Let's hop in the back seat and see what comfort would be like if you were driving somebody around day to day. Pretty good room back here, and this is consistent with Civic and Integra. These are pretty large cars at this point. I mean, they have big back seats. We don't have a folding down console, which is a bit of a bummer, but we do still have cup holders. What I think is funny is you can kind of see right here, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but obviously this seat folds down to allow you for more cargo space in the back. And so it just sits right there. You can see my boxes sitting back there. And it gives you an impression of the cup holder, and that has stayed there now for a couple of days. So I'm curious to see in the future when people have run their Integras with the back seat down, if they have permanent impressions from the cup holder. I just think that's kind of silly. Let's go ahead and hop in here. I do want to note before we hit the road, this has some Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss that are uniquely compounded to the Type S. They're even different than the ones, slightly different than the ones you get on the Type R. So these wheels are a little curved. This car only has 1,500 miles on it, and like every wheel is curved. I don't know who had this car before me, but they were not kind to it. So let's hop in and get it started up. This is not going to be a cold start because I drove it here to this remote parking lot. But firing up there in comfort mode, so that is actually the quietest setting here. And here is our interior. We have the white spec here on our Apex Blue exterior. I think it goes together pretty well, and it's kind of like iconic Acura spec. A lot of the Acura press cars are Apex Blue with this white interior. Type S embossed here on the headrest, but otherwise the seats aren't too unique. In fact, I don't know that they are different at all from the ones that you would get in just a regular A-spec Integra. And it looks like they have some sort of maintenance going on in this church parking lot right now, so we'll be quick and we'll do just a quick tour of this interior, and then we'll hit the road. Let me peel off my Parks Pass. If you are Washtenaw County watching, no, you're not. Okay, let's put that away. So what is going on in here? Well, we don't have a sunroof here in the Type S, and honestly, the interior is not too different in this Type S from just a regular Integra A spec. The biggest differences are the steering wheel. We have perforated leather and a Type S badge at the bottom. The dealer will also offer you an accessory Alcantara wheel, which I would probably go with because I love that material. Otherwise, we have a different shift knob, shift boot, and shifter surround. And other than that, oh, and no memory seats, which is a bummer. For $56,000, I think I should have some memory seats, especially when I have a panel blocking off where my memory seats should be. That's kind of silly. I wonder if maybe the Canadian market car gets that or something. We also have our IDS drive modes down here, and we have 4 different ones: Sport Plus, Sport, Comfort, and Individual. Of course, we can change our individual mode by clicking Customize here. Here's how I have mine set up. Everything in comfort except the engine. So we have our rowdy exhaust note, but steering is nice and light. Suspension is nice and soft. That is, in my opinion, the best way to drive around on the street. You can be rowdy, but not hurt your back while doing so. And I have my gauge cluster in Sport, but you can also switch that to Comfort, which makes it blue, or Sport Plus, which makes it red with yellow needles. But I kind of just like to have the gray display. I think it goes with the interior just a bit better. So we're going to leave it just like that. Of course, gauge cluster is also customizable. I have mine set right now to nothing on the left and a boost gauge on the right, but you can of course have your trip computer, compass, all sorts of other things over here. You can have a G meter, and then I don't know exactly what that is. That's percentage of throttle, and it looks like brake pressure. Yep, okay, cool. Well, we're gonna keep that boost gauge because it's kind of fun to watch. Otherwise though, just normal Integra stuff, same infotainment, same climate control. Everything we know and love about the Integra, of course, is carried over to the hot Type S. Heated seats in this thing, automatic climate control, all of the good stuff. 16 speaker ELS Studio 3D sound system. It is fabulous. That is another big attraction to the Integra, is just all of the different creature comforts we get in here, including this ELS Studio 3D sound system. Before we get on the road, let's give it a couple revs, and then we'll get out of here. So you can see we have a bit more of an aggressive tune here on the Type S than we do on the Type R. It has a slightly different exhaust. We have no front resonator, so it's a bit louder in nature, just in general, but we also have a tune which gives us those pops and burbles when you have the car as a whole in Sport Plus, or your engine set to Sport Plus in individual. The most notable pops and burbles happen at just about 3,500 RPM. But you can also get some good ones throughout the rest of the rev range, especially if you're like bouncing off the limiter. It'll give you some good snaps. And man, that front diff puts in work, man. No slippage at all. You point this front end and it's going. This platform as a whole is one of the most impressive that I have driven. On track, the Civic Type R is unmatched for a front-wheel drive car, in my opinion. And even in this more streetable setting here with the Type-S, it still feels unbelievably dialed in. So I know we just started driving, but we're already making our first stop here. But this is the beauty of the Type-S, is you can run around and do things like this. It doesn't beat you up. Generally, this parking lot is chaos, and today it seems to be, well, actually seems to be kind of okay. We can make it a bit chaos with some burbles, though, I'll tell you that much. We squeeze it in here. Yes. Oh, and this is a good demonstrator of our parking. So, I think he just crashed. He just crashed. Did he hit that Dodge Nitro? Oh God, he's coming this way. Don't pull out. I'm gonna move the car from this location because I'm very uncomfortable now. This is the thing with driving in public nowadays, is you just never know who's gonna crash into you. I don't think he hit it because I didn't see any damage on his F-150. He's just a couple spots down. Maybe we'll inspect this Nitro and just make sure it didn't get crashed into. You all hopefully now understand why I don't like going into public. I mean, it's really dreadful. It is genuinely, usually terrifying also. Oh dear. All right, let's grab our return and make our way in to ship this package. And I'm gonna go look at this Dodge Nitro, make sure she didn't crash into it. And if she did, I'm gonna leave a little note for them to let them know. Take a look at our key here. Type-S key, unique to the Integra. Well, unique to Type-S cars, but I think the other ones get a slightly different key. Oh yeah, no, there was no contact here. Yeah, we're all good. I forgot I was wearing my POV hat and I just got a weird look from that group of people, so we're gonna take it off here for a sec and I'll get back with you guys when I'm getting back in my car. And what trip to this parking lot would be complete without finding a lug stud in the middle of the road? How do you lose an entire lug stud? How does that even happen? We're gonna put this over here so nobody drives over. I don't think this could go into a tire, but so we'll put it up here where it won't hurt anybody. Okay, let's hop back into this Type-S and get back onto the road. See, this is why I love taking you guys with me on these adventures, because you get to see what I'm on about the general public just being cursed. What is this, do we think? She thinks she can't make the turn, is what I would guess. God, I hate coming here, I really do. Oh, she couldn't have made the turn. Massive bus she's driving, right? It's really obnoxious. Get a nice 1-2 pull here. It is quick, this thing. I mean, genuinely quick. 320 horsepower, all to the front wheels. It's a big ask, but this differential gets it done. There's a shoe. What sort of shoe is that? Puma, perhaps? As far as manual transmissions go, this one is super easy to operate. It's very forgiving, and you don't have to put any thought into it at all. It's got auto rev matching. The shifter itself feels slightly different than the one you get in the Civic Type R. It's less, I think it all comes down to the knob, to be honest. You get that big metal shift knob in the Civic Type R, and this one's got a bit of leather. It feels a little lighter weight, just as a shifter altogether. But it's surprising how much a shift knob affects shifter feel. Overall though, it feels great. Clutch feel great. No real complaints as far as driving dynamics go with this Integra Type-S. They've really, really got it dialed in. Let's stick some fresh 93 here in the Type-S, and then we'll go do some spirited driving. Fill her up, fill her up. Ooh, we're done. I wanted to point out one other difference from the Civic Type R. With the Type-S, since this is a North American, since this is a North American car only, we get a capless filler. So we don't have to do up a fuel cap when we're done getting petrol. I will not be getting my receipt because I don't want to see the cashier. Cool, let's hop in, fire it back up, and we'll do some spirited driving. We'll wrap up our thoughts here on the Type-S. I'm really bothered right now because I don't have hand sanitizer, and I don't like touching gas pumps without it. So, okay, we'll get over it. I actually didn't even pay attention to how much fuel that took. 10 gallons or something? It's 150 on a Thursday. I don't understand what's happening. We're ready to make the light. Let's go. Although it is plausible. Nope, they're going that way. Okay. You get some good turbo noises too with this thing. What on earth? Okay, don't ask questions. Let's get merged onto the highway at likely an inappropriate speed behind this Caravan. Let's see if they can get it together here. We're gonna go slow till we hit this bump, and then we'll get on it. Revving us all the way there to 7,000 RPM. And we are actually merging at an appropriate, well, may have spoken too soon, 60. Not the best here, and they're about to crash into this ramp. Okay. That was actually a pretty smooth merge. I'm not mad at that. And magically, we've made our way over to the lane I need to exit. How nice. But here we are cruising, 79 miles per hour, revved at exactly 3,000 RPM. While we're on the subject of cruising, let's very quickly try out the cruise control. We do have adaptive cruise here in this Integra Type-S. And you can adjust your following distance. You can also turn on a steering assist, which does a really good job keeping you in the lines. But we're going to turn that back off here because we're no longer in a proper lane. We're going to turn off our cruise control as well. And that has an M plate. Do I know you? Who are you? No idea. That is a Jeep Liberty with no rear window. Okay, we're off the highway. We're away from some of the chaos. Let's hit this little back section, and we'll talk about what this thing is like to drive spiritedly. As I mentioned earlier, I like a bit of flair. I like a bit of personality with my hot hatches, which is the main reason I like Hyundai N cars so much. But you get a little bit of that spirit here with the Type-S. You get the pops and burbles, and the turbo lag. That's another thing. It's got wild turbo lag. It's hilarious. All right, right. Actually, you know what? Let's wait till VersaLift is out of the way, and we'll show you this turbo lag, because it's really quite entertaining. It's fun having your foot down, having nothing happen for 2 seconds, and then all of it. Yes, okay. People like to straddle the middle. Which lane will he go into? All right, here we go. A little demonstration there of that turbo lag. But this thing is properly quick. I mean, seriously fast. It feels like maybe it is the quickest in this segment. I don't know that I've driven anything else hot hatch-wise that feels as fast as this car, fresh out of the bag. Let's show you this diff. I mean, unreal. It just figures it out. I was essentially flat out there for the second half. Look at that. I mean, what? You always know a car is good when it brings out the 12-year-old in you, and this one does. We went around here last week in the Durango Hellcat, and I was like, nothing's made me laugh like this in a while, but this Integra is doing it to me. Let's talk about ride quality, because that is one thing that's often brought up with the Civic Type R. Is it is a bit stiff. Well, this car feels a bit softer in every way, and I think if you put wheels that were just a little bit smaller, it really would be properly excellent. This is quite a large bump. No big deal. It's still stiff, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to tell you this floats along the road like a Cadillac. It is still stiff like most hot hatches are, but it's not as stiff as the Civic Type R or even some of its other competitors. You know, I'm thinking of some older cars like the Focus RS. That car is painfully stiff. My dad owns one, so I've spent quite a lot of time in that car, and it is really quite stiff. This isn't quite as bad. What were we? I was driving. Oh, the Kona N. That's a very stiff hot hatch. This isn't as stiff as that. All right, we got a straight section here. This has somewhat of a launch control. You can stop, and it'll limit the revs to about 3,000 to allow you to get a proper hole shot. And we'll do that real quick while we have an empty road. Shifting it easily there. These Honda transmissions don't like to be banged into the next gear, so polite. But even with that, I mean, it scoots off the line, and I've got traction control off. I was pretty conservative on how I launched it there, but there was really no wheel spin at the beginning. There's some sort of a pedal dance you can do with the Civic Type R to completely disable all of the driver aids and everything else. You can probably do the same with this Integra Type-S. I don't know what it is. So I probably should have asked the TheTopher before I came out to film this. Oh well. And yes, it will rev match first gear. Let's see if this F-150 wants to crash into me. Yes, he does. Oh, and shite, and so does that Grand Marquis. What is wrong with people? Okay, we are doing one more lap here, and then we will wrap it up. Very angry Grand Marquis driver that doesn't know how to operate a roundabout, which is apparently my fault. Fantastic Oldsmobile. I really need to stop filming over here. I mean, this is just... What? You guys ever consider how horrifying it is that most of the general population genuinely has no idea how to use a roundabout or a rotary if you're from the East? Anyways, though, wrapping up thoughts on the Integra Type-S. Well, I think that this might be my favorite hot hatch now. It's up there, man. If it's not my favorite, it's up there. The Kona N is fabulous, and the Elantra N, they are really great little bang for your buck hot hatches. But as far as adding a luxury factor in and a little bit of a higher end feel, I'd have this over the Golf R. I'd have it over the Civic Type R. All right, everyone. That's going to wrap it up. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. If you want to get a full, proper look and a proper review of this Integra Type-S that isn't just like a daily driving sort of vlog style video, head over to TheTopher, head over to Tedward, and take a look. They both have fantastic reviews on this car up in the California canyons doing some proper driving. So make sure to head over there if you want to see a real proper review. But this is kind of just a living with the Integra Type-S type deal. And thank you all if you've stuck around this long. Thanks for hanging out with me. And, well, I'll see you in the next one. We'll take one last look. I love that. We'll take one last look, and that'll be it for us today. Yeah, this thing looks proper. Cool, guys. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.